Hey everybody, Hunter back again from Showtime Studios. I told you I was going to do a video on my new big project for 2015 show season. That'll be starting at the toward the end of February, and that leaves me about 2 months exactly to get this thing done. And I just wanted to bring everybody up to date of where we're at right now with it, and kind of some insight on where we want to go with it. But you know, usually on my builds, I always get the build done first, and then I find myself rushing around right at the very end before it debuts at a show to get the display board done. So this time, once I figured out the length of what the model was going to be, I went ahead and picked up my display board, and I'll go ahead and bring it up here and show it to you. This is going to be the display board that we're using for the new build, and it's just a simple display board from let's see, this came from Michael's, and I got it with a 50% off coupon, which ended up being about $4 altogether. And then I picked up some of this decorative molding, this rope detail, which come out pretty good on the board. I think it gives it an antique look, which is what I was looking for. And also picked up 4 little oak feet. And I went ahead and put a couple coats of stain on it. And then I went back in and distressed it with some tools and just various items to kind of give it some dents and wear and tear. And then I also went through and sanded the board a little bit in certain spots, a little bit more in others. And put one more thin coat of stain on it. Now from this point here, it'll go into polyurethane, and this thing will be real shiny when it's done, and hopefully it gives me the antique look that I'm looking for. And I still have to finish the underneath of it because I've got a charging station and a battery station that has to go underneath of this for what's going to be on the model. So I went ahead and got that out of the way, and you know, got started on it, so it'll be done long before the truck's done. So and there was your little hint. I said truck, for anybody that picked up on that. And what I'm going to do is, first off, I will tell you that what we are working with is a combination of 2 different model kits. And the first one is the Mobius Lone Star kit that I'm sure all of you are familiar with, that are into the truck models. And the second kit is the Mobius Pro Star kit. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting my twist on these 2 kits. I'm combining them into one truck, into one model. And I'm also using my 200-inch scratch-built condo sleeper unit that I started on, that several of you have seen an earlier video on. And it's coming along real well. And as far as paint and the final paint scheme for it, we are looking at I'm going to have this truck kind of laid out like the older, back in the day, International had an Eagle Brahms series that was black and orange, and it had a big eagle down the side of it. Well, that's kind of what I'm going to do with this truck. I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on that. So I contacted my buddy Jerry Reeder at Model Trucking Decals, and he's going to do a custom Eagle decal for me, and I'm going to combine that with the House of Color black and the House of Color orange that I'm going to use at the bottom. And that orange happens to be a custom blend that I made up of bittersweet pearl and ultra orange pearl. And in the bottom of this, this is what I call my twist that's laying down in the very bottom of it. I'm not going to tell you what the twist is. I'll give you the 2 main colors, but I keep the twist kind of on the down low. I keep that a secret. That's just so that I end up being the only one with that color, or hopefully with that color. If anybody out there thinks like me, you may end up with the same thing. But once all this is done and I've got the black and the decal and the orange on, I will do a little bit of a twist in the clear, and that'll even everything out, and I think it'll really give it an eye-popping appearance on the show table. So that's hopefully what I'm going to create. So that's the color, one of the colors we'll be using on it. And next, what I'll do is go ahead and I'll bring the camera down here and use it for a handheld. I'll show you where we're at, explain a couple of things with it, and a couple of the features I have on it, and that'll bring everybody up to date on how the project's doing. So here we go. Okay. Now this may be a little bit shaky because I am doing this handheld, so bear with me there. But as you can see, there is the new project that I'm working on. That's a combination of the Pro Star and the Lone Star from Mobius with my custom scratch-built 200-inch sleeper. And just to let everybody know, you'll see a few gold items on this thing. Part of the frame is gold. The rear fenders are gold. And you can see the radiator there and the frame rails, and the roof fairing is gold. Now what I'm doing with this model is going back to something that I've worked with before, and that is using the Testors one-shot lacquers for my primer over top of my bodywork. And when I'm done mocking up and getting everything done on this model, the entire model will be Inca gold, and then that'll all be sanded, and I'll make sure that everything is perfect the way that I want it, and then I'll start with my final coats of paint. And a lot of you may think that that'll build up too many layers, but trust me, as I put paint on, when it comes to the getting it ready for the final base coat colors, the majority of that will come off during the body work and the sanding and the smoothing stage. But I just want it on there because it'll give it a nice clean finish and a very good thing for the base coat, the House of Color base coat to tack into. And so what we'll do here is back here in the corner we got some various odds and ends that's been worked on and coming together for the model. You see some engine parts back there, and one of the scratch-built fuel tanks, and the RV style toilet is back there on a toothpick, and the PlayStation's back there, and like I say, just some odds and ends. That's the carpet set for the sleeper that I've built, and I have 3 Lone Star mud flaps there. Now what I did that for is a mold. I'm actually casting those little oval marker lights, and I will be using them on various spots on the model. So I put that together with some modeling clay, and then right there on top you will see the mold that I created, and it's a pretty crude looking mold, but all I need is just the little oval, and underneath of it there is the parts that I've cast. Now each one of them get cut out and sanded down individually, and I can do 9 at a time, so that'll work out pretty good because I have a lot of lights planned for the model. So next we'll move on to getting into the truck itself. This is basically set up with a Pro Star front half, including the frame, and the rear half of it and the rear suspension is Pro Star, and or Lone Star I mean. And the front half is Pro Star, the back half is Lone Star. And I like the fairings that were on the Pro Star, so what I did is kind of did a combination of the Pro Star Lone Star design and created my own design, all scratch built. And doing some work on the hood hinges. Not real happy with that design, so I'm kind of changing it up a little bit to make it work better for my application. And as you can see, I got the engine setting into place, and it's not glued in. None of this stuff is glued together. It's just kind of mocked up into position to get an idea of what everything's going to look like. And I'm using the Pro Star bumper out of another project that I had that never got off the ground, so that'll all become Inca gold along with everything else before we get the final paint. I went ahead and used that because the mold lines and everything were done, and it was all cleaned up and ready to go. Next we move on back. We have some of Doug Wagner's turned aluminum rims, and I have them on the front, and we also have them on the rear, and they are very nice pieces. Doug did a wonderful job on them, and they are available for right around $100 for the set. And I've also got the aluminum spiked lug covers that I'll be using on all 6 of the outer wheels. And they're very nice pieces that I got from Ben Wicker. And next we'll move on up. I'm not going to open the doors on this one. Basically, because of the design of the cab is the reason why I'm not going to do it. So to be able to display the interior, I went ahead and kept what Mobius had going with this panel here being removable. So at the shows, that panel will be off so that you can see the cab interior. And then, of course, the sleeper top will be off so you can see all the scratch-built stuff I've got in the sleeper. And the roof fairing that's there has a massive amount of bodywork in it. It's actually totally changed around from the kit version. But as you can see there also, you can see the shine that's in that Testors 1 coat. And just to give you an idea, I do that because it shows up all the little tiny imperfections to my eye better than primer does. So that's why I'm a big fan of using the Testors one-shot lacquer. And I trust it. I've done it before on a couple of my builds, and it's came out real good. In fact, one of my builds that I've done this technique on actually went on to win a Best Paint, and it's also won a Best in Show. So, you know, it's definitely something that I've tried, and it works, and I like it. So I'm going to definitely do it on this build because I don't need any issues. So next we're going to move on back. I'm using the Lone Star stacked shields that have been slightly modified to fit this new 200-inch condo. And as we move up a little bit, you'll see a little bit of a gap there between the roof fairing and the sleeper. That will not be there when it's done. Like I say, all this stuff is just in the mock-up stage and fitting and, you know, just sneaking up on closing all the gaps shut and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it'll get better as we go along, just like with the quarter round that's around the edges of the sleeper. All that's glued into place, and I allow it to sit for, you know, a few days so I can go ahead and get that sanded and make sure it doesn't pop any of the seams. And the other thing we're using is the Mobius kit stacks that comes in the Pro Star. And I've got those de-chromed. And I got all the seam work straightened out on them, and I'm thinning out the wall diameter to make them look more realistic. And then, of course, we move on back to some of you have seen the scratch-built sleeper. Now, I don't have all the components in here right now. That's what a lot of the stuff is over there that was in front of the truck that I showed you just a minute ago. But we do have the refrigerator, the microwave, the clock, some of the cabinets are in. And right there in the white opening to the left-hand side, that's where the working TV goes. And then as we look through the window in the side of the sleeper, you can see the simulated gas fireplace that's scratch built and will be lit with LEDs. In fact, you can see the wires underneath of the bunk there. That stuff's already been put in and tested and works out real well. And, you know, putting that window in that location was strategic because you can look down through the top to see the TV working, but you kind of have to look a little bit lower to see the gas stove lit up, so I put that window there for that reason. And as we move on back, I'm using the kit panel, sleeper panel out of one of the Pro Star kits, and I'm going to add to the top, the sides, and the bottom of that to create one solid panel, which kind of gives you the bulkhead that's on the back of the sleeper. So all that'll blend in and kind of look kit, which is what I'm after. And there we have the P&P double hump fenders from P&P Resins. Now these have been modified slightly, a lot of body work in them. And I'm also incorporating the tail lights into the bottom of those fenders, which is something I've never done before. And the frame is cut off straight right now because I've got to radius it to fit the curve of the fender there, and to also house the other taillight panel that goes across the frame. And you can see this truck will be a full deck plate. And I haven't finished that section yet because, like I say, I can get my radius done first, and then I'll finish off that and smooth everything down. And then we'll have a fifth wheel with the fifth wheel cover on here. And I'll also be using airbags on the sleeper to support it. And that's about all we've got on the truck right now. It's coming along good. The last thing I'd like to show you is actually what's behind this panel right here. And like I say, I've got it all mocked up, so I'm going to set the camera down here. And, whoa, look at that nice blue paper towel. Whoa, there we go. We got something happening now. Okay, I'm going to bring the fairings down here, and I will show you what's behind that panel that I spent about 12 hours working on yesterday and getting it up to this point. But behind that panel, what we have is that compartment slides out. And I just noticed that as I was moving things around here, I knocked something over. So bear with me just a minute because I don't have any of this stuff glued into place. Let me grab my tweezers here so I can stand up a part that's in this section here. Bear with me just a second. There we go. All right. It helps when you have everything glued down, but during mock-up, that's kind of hard to do. So, as you can see, we opened up the panel there, and the next thing we'll do is we'll take that panel and we'll actually slide it out this direction. And what we have is a gas charcoal grill. And I'll get the camera zoomed in here. There we go. And you can see the LP bottle, which is a resin cast piece I got from eBay. And I've got some photo etch screen just kind of sitting in there right now. It's not finished. And the grill will actually raise up a little bit when it's done. And it'll also have a hood on it. And when everything is finished, it'll all go back into this cabinet as we want it to. And I'll set the camera back down here and I'll show you how we slide everything back in. There we go. And all we do to put it back together is just slide this section over and lock it into place, and then slide this one shut. And you will never know, if I wanted to display it and take pictures of it as a closed up truck, you would never know that that panel or any of that stuff exists in there. So real happy with that design. Like I say, it took me about 12 hours to finish all that up and to get it up to that point. So what I'm going to do now is set the camera back up here, and we're going to finish up the video. Let's see if we got it in the right spot. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now you get to look at my ugly mug now instead of the truck. But that's where we're at. I'm feeling real good about this project. Real happy with the outcome so far. And I've kind of got my drive back and my focus back. And I think this is the right one. And I think we're going to continue to keep moving ahead with it. So hopefully everybody follows along. And, or, you know, at least I hope you do. And maybe learn some tricks along the way. And, you know, from my techniques and stuff that I use. And if anybody has any questions on the Lone Star or the Pro Star kit as far as assembly or, you know, parts placement or anything like that, leave me a message, and, you know, I'll be more glad to get back to you and let you know what I've come across on using the kit parts. And so that's about all I've got for today. I wanted to bring everybody up to date, and the next video will be, you know, whatever project I get into next on it. I'll go ahead and put it on video and keep you up to date on that. I'm going to try to do about 1 or 2 a week, and keep all my subscribers, you know, in the loop on what's going on. And we'll see if we can make the February Richmond show as the debut. And but like always, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.